All right, breakfast, the most important meal of the day, or at least my favorite meal of the day. We are doing breakfast freezer meals today. My husband informed me that we are running very low on breakfast freezer meals, so I'm gonna go ahead and cook up a few more. I'm gonna do a few of my tried and trues, and then I'm also gonna slot in some new recipes because I always like to try new recipes. So let's go over the menu. We're gonna do French toast, but we're gonna use brioche bread. We're gonna do breakfast burritos. I have done breakfast burritos before on my channel, but today we're gonna make them a little different. We're gonna do some chorizo and egg breakfast burritos, which is something that I grew up eating and now Joe likes as well. And I'm also gonna do 2 bread recipes. I'm gonna do 1 loaf of banana nut bread and then 1 loaf of cinnamon swirl bread. These 2 recipes are coming from the recipe book that my mother-in-law gifted us. And then new breakfast freezer meal that I'm gonna be trying, we're gonna do sausage pancakes on a stick. It's already the afternoon here, but we're gonna attempt to do all of these recipes between today and tomorrow. Hopefully we finish the bulk of it today, but if it runs into tomorrow, I'm fine with that. Let's just get into it. Let's get cooking. All right, so I figured we'll get started with the 2 breads first, just so that those can be baking in the oven while we work on other things. So I'm gonna get started with the banana bread recipe first. This is a gift that I just got from my brother, my older brother, of this new Acma stand mixer. So when I looked up the reviews on Amazon, it actually has really good reviews. So here's what it looks like. And here are the attachments it came with. I have never owned a stand mixer, so I am so excited that I finally have one. It has the 6-speed control here. We're gonna have to give this baby a whirl. So let me wash this up and then we'll come back and then we'll put this baby to the test. We're breaking out the cookbook from my mother-in-law here. Here's the recipe we're gonna be following for the banana bread. I'm gonna go ahead and preheat the oven to 350 and then we'll get started on the batter. Okay, so I'm gonna add 1 cup of sugar and 1/2 cup softened butter. Okay, and I'm just gonna beat this together. And I'm gonna add 1 egg, 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Okay, and I just have 3 ripe bananas that I'm gonna throw in here. These are sliced up. Okay, I'm gonna go with 2 cups of just regular all-purpose flour. I'm gonna do 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 1 teaspoon of salt. Okay, so we're gonna pour this into our pan. This is what the batter is looking like. It's pretty thick. So the recipe had said to put these chopped walnuts inside the batter, but instead I'm just gonna put them on top because my son is still a little too young to eat nuts whole like this. So this way, when I feed him his slices, I can just easily peel off the nut layer on top or cut that off, and then myself or his dad can eat that part for him. Definitely, if you don't have a stand mixer yet, I wouldn't sleep on this Acma. Give it a try. Check the reviews on Amazon. They're pretty good. I'll link it below if you want to check it out yourself. Okay, so now I'm gonna put this into our 350-degree oven for 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna reduce the heat to 300 degrees for the remaining cooking time until the toothpick comes out clean. Let's go ahead and put this one in. All right, now that our banana bread is working in the oven, let's go ahead and start our French toast. I have this bag of sliced brioche. I love brioche bread. So I've never used it in French toast, but I've seen a ton of people do and it turns out great. I'm gonna go ahead and heat up my griddle and then get started on my wet batter mixture. So we're gonna use whole milk because this is what I have on hand. 1 cup of this, 2 cups, 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna go in with a splash of vanilla, a splash and a half. And I also add brown sugar to my French toast. If you don't know this trick already, you should keep a slice of bread in your brown sugar because it really helps to keep it super, super soft. So I'm gonna go in with about 1/4 of a cup. Now I'm just gonna add just like a pinch of nutmeg. And then the cinnamon, I don't measure this, it's really just your preference. But if I had to guess, it's about a tablespoon. All right, we're just gonna spread a little butter. Okay, so after they're done, I leave them on a cooling rack, and you want to do that so that they don't get soggy, and you're gonna wait till they cool to flash freeze. Okay, so I have all my French toast cooling on this cooling rack. First of all, oh my gosh, they smell so good. You can smell that nutmeg, you can smell that cinnamon and the vanilla. It smells so good. So when I say flash freeze, we're gonna put them in the freezer just like this for a few minutes till they get hardened. And then we're gonna pull them out and then repackage them in a Ziploc after the flash freeze. And the reason why you do that is because you want to try and avoid these sticking together once they're frozen together in the Ziploc bag. And the way to do that is flash freezing them first. So yeah, we're just gonna let these cool and then move on. Okay, we just took out our banana bread. At the 300 mark, it actually took 65 minutes for a toothpick to come out clean. So a little longer than I thought, but it looks and smells so good. It smells like fresh banana. We're gonna start on our second loaf of bread, our second bread, and this is gonna be the cinnamon swirl bread in the same recipe book. So I'm gonna go ahead and preheat the oven to 350 and then get started on our batter ingredients. Okay, so in the small bowl, we're gonna add 1/3 cup of sugar, about 1/2 cup of toasted nuts. I've been toasting these on the stove. And these are walnuts. And I bought them chopped, but I also ran a knife through them so that they're more finely chopped. 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. That's basically the rest of this. I'm just gonna stir that up. So we're just gonna set this aside for now. So in this large bowl, we're gonna add 1 cup of sugar, 2 cups of flour. This is just all purpose. 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now in this bowl, separate bowl, we're gonna add 1 egg. This is 1 cup of whole milk. And this is 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. Now we're gonna pour our egg mixture into our flour. But we do want our batter to still be a little lumpy. So I'm just gonna put on low. So we're gonna pour in half our batter. Now again, I'm using parchment paper for this, just like I did the banana bread. We're gonna sprinkle half of our cinnamon sugar nut mixture in here. Now let's pour the rest of the batter. Okay, let's pour the rest of our cinnamon sugar nut mixture. And we're just gonna use a chopstick to kind of swirl it a bit. I don't know if that swirly worked, but I'm sure it'll taste delicious. Okay, so we're gonna stick this in that 350 oven for 45 to 50 minutes. I have my French toast here. I just flash froze them. I've been doing that in batches. They're like, not enough to have freezer burn, but just enough to get them frozen. So they've been in there about 20 minutes. And I'm just putting them in this Ziploc bag like this. And now that they've been flash frozen, when you stack them in the Ziploc bag and you want to take a couple out to defrost, they won't be stuck together. Here's my finished cinnamon swirl bread. It smells really good. This took about 45 minutes. I'm just letting them cool, and then we'll slice them up and then freeze them in sets of slices. This is completely cold. Cold cinnamon swirl loaf. So in the recipe there is a glaze, just a simple powdered sugar glaze that you put over this, but I'm not gonna make that pre-freezer. That's something I would make once the bread is defrosted and we eat it that day. So I'm gonna go ahead and slice this up and package it in my press and seal like I did the others. So you can see I put both my banana nut and my cinnamon swirl bread in here, and these are ready for the freezer. All right, everyone, we are on day 2 of these freezer breakfasts. I have had my coffee, I've showered, I've gotten ready, I am pumped. Let's get into this. So today we are gonna start on those sausage pancakes on a stick. So first what I'll do is my sausage links are raw, so we'll have to get those cooked up first, and then we'll go ahead and start on the batter. So let's just get into it. Let's get started. We have some sausage links here. These are just 8 packs of Farmer John regular sausage links, and we're gonna go ahead and air fry these at 400 for about 8 or 9 minutes. I'm gonna go in with 2 cups of pancake mix. And this is 1 1/3 cups of water. Give that a mix. We're gonna add a splash of vanilla. And then we're gonna use our pancake syrup. I'd say about a tablespoon. Okay, so now that we have our sausages done, I'm just gonna use just some regular skewers. These ones are actually longer, and I bought those on purpose because so it's just easier to cook in the pan without burning myself. But we're gonna take our sausage, our cooked sausage, and then just stick it through like that. And we'll get a couple more. We're just going to coat our sausage. Just like that. All right, let's take these over to the oil. I have my oil at 360 degrees. Here are all my finished pancake sausages on a stick, or sausage pancakes on a stick. My husband and I already ate a couple, so spoiler alert, these are delicious. The batter is super light and fluffy, really good. So I'm gonna let these cool here on the cooling rack before we start packaging them up for the freezer. Let's go ahead and get started on our breakfast burritos. These are gonna be chorizo and egg burritos. So if you don't know what chorizo is, so I'm part Mexican, I'm part Hawaiian and part Mexican. But my dad used to make us these all the time when we were kids. If you've never seen this before, so this is pork chorizo. It's basically just like seasoned or spiced pork sausage. There's different kinds of chorizo you can buy. This is the one that we grew up eating. You cook it into eggs. If you've ever been to a Mexican restaurant, they probably, or a taqueria, they probably have this on the menu on their breakfast side. A chorizo and egg breakfast burrito. So in these burritos, we're going to put a layer of beans, refried beans, our chorizo and eggs, some crispy potatoes, and cheese. So we're gonna go ahead and get started on our crispy potatoes first and start cooking those up. I have just a little bit of canola oil heating up here, and I already took some russet potatoes that I've peeled and cubed up. Okay, now that I have, you see like a good golden color on my potatoes. Now I'm just gonna add some water and a lid to steam it so that the insides can cook and get tender. Just for a few minutes. My water. And I'll turn it down to medium-low. Add a little bit of garlic salt now that these are about done. Just some pepper. Okay, these are done. Now in a pan on low heat, I'm gonna add just a little bit of oil. This is just the same pan that the potatoes were in. And I split open my pork chorizo. And we're just gonna cook this down a bit. So we're just gonna cover this for a couple minutes. You can see here the sausage is being cooked because it's changing texture a bit. And you can see some of the oils expelling from it as well. And we're still on about a low to medium low heat right now. About now is the time when I'm gonna go ahead and add in my eggs. So I have here 12 eggs and about 1/4 of a cup of milk. Cook on low and stir frequently. Now you can see this chorizo sausage is totally blended in with the egg now. You're done. Our sausage pancakes on a stick are completely cooled. I went ahead and trimmed off the sticks so that they'd be a little shorter for packaging, which I just used a kitchen shears. I don't recommend that you do that. It wasn't super easy. Maybe just buy the shorter sticks instead of the long ones. I'm gonna go ahead and flash freeze these in the freezer for maybe 10-15 minutes, and then we'll go ahead and then just package them up all in one Ziploc bag. They've already been flash frozen, so I've been adding them to this bag here. And the reason why, if I didn't mention already, I flash freeze is because it's less of a chance for them to stick together once they're freezing. And instead of individually wrapping them, you can wrap them all. You can put them all in the same bag. We got about 18 of these. Since I haven't made these before, I haven't tried reheating them, but from what I've read online is that you would just take them out to thaw, like how I would normally take things out to thaw, and then you wrap them in a loose paper towel and then put them in the microwave for about a minute or so until they're heated through. These are done. Okay, I have here sort of my filling for my Mexican style chorizo burritos. You can see my chorizo and eggs here. They're now cooled. My crispy potatoes are also cooled. I went ahead and shredded up some Monterey Jack cheese. I buy my cheese by the blocks at Kirkland, not Kirkland, at Costco. And I like to grate my own cheese. So this is Monterey Jack. And then here I just have some refried beans. These just came from a can, Rosarita Traditional. And I did warm them just slightly so that they're easier to spread onto the tortilla. I'm gonna use burrito-sized tortillas for these breakfast burritos. This brand is Mission. Or I've said this before, but I really like to warm my tortillas a bit, like in the microwave, so just so that they're more pliable and less likely to tear as we're rolling and working with them. So I have a couple warm tortillas here. I do these very simple. I'm gonna spread a spoonful of my refried beans, spoonful of my eggs, spoonful of my crispy potatoes, a generous bit of cheese. Go in the sides and roll. And that's it. Now we're just gonna grab our press and seal and roll these up individually. Just gonna put these in my Ziploc. Okay. Got 11 breakfast burritos here, ready for the freezer. All right, everyone, that is it for this round of breakfast freezer meals. The biggest tip I can give you for freezer meals in general is you want to thaw your meals rather than cooking straight from frozen. The reheating process will be much better for you if you thaw maybe the night before or the morning of if it's a dinner, but the night before if it's a breakfast. You definitely don't want to just rely on the microwave to reheat everything because you've put a lot of work into making all these meals and you want your family to actually enjoy this food so that they eat it. You don't want to just rely on the microwave because you won't get a real nice texture or consistency during the reheat. So I did record a reheat video based on the freezer meals that I made in my first video, and I will link that down for you below to check out how I reheated the meals and to give you some tips on what you can pair those meals with. So for the French toast here that I made today, the brioche French toast, I would reheat those in either the stovetop or likely the air fryer. If you don't have the air fryer, probably the stovetop would work best. But if you were to put them in the microwave, then they would likely just get soggy during the reheat. So I put them in the air fryer because it keeps a nice crisp on the outside while the French toast still stays soft on the inside. For the breakfast burritos, I did go through my reheat process in my reheat video, but if you haven't watched that, again, I'll link it below, but that you would want to thaw the night before. I put it in the microwave for about 45 seconds on the morning of, just to heat through the inside, and then I pan sear both sides on the stove because it gives you a nice crispy burrito on the outside while everything is still warm and hot on the inside. Oh, and then for both of the breads, the banana bread and the cinnamon swirl bread, I would reheat both of those wrapped in maybe a damp paper towel in their microwave until they're heated through. And for the cinnamon swirl bread, the day of that I eat that is when I would make the powdered sugar glaze that gets drizzled over the top. I hope the meals in today's video maybe gave you some new ideas for breakfast. I know it can get tiring just to eat the same things over and over again, so it's always nice to have something in mind to switch it up. If you want to hang out with me some more, I'll go ahead and drop some videos here on the screen to spend some more time with me in the kitchen. And until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.